Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott McKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go. All
right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you for your continued support of a platform that is dedicated to industrial professionals all around the world. You are bold, brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you solve problems, and you're making the world a better place. That's why we celebrate you on Industrial Talk, the #1 industrial-related podcast in the universe, and it's backed up by data. Plus, we're cool. Anyway, we are broadcasting live on site right now at DistribuTech in Orlando, Florida, and it is a collection of problem solvers, all focused on innovative solutions to make the grid and the power and everything better. I'm running out of words to say. You guys are catching me at the wrong time. Yeah, very good. Two gents are in the hot seat. Miguel, he's new. Ty, he's old. So he's been on Ty Itron. That's what we call him. So let's get cracking. How you guys doing?
Well, how are you?
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's always so fun. It's like coming home. Because the last time we met in person was, 2 years ago?
It was the first DTech post-pandemic.
Yeah,
it was wonderful to be there.
Yeah. I hear the numbers are fantastic.
They are. Yeah,
it's sort of like pre-pandemic levels.
Exactly.
I love this show. I feel like it's the right size. It's large, so everybody's here, but it's not so large that you don't have time to talk to everybody.
Yeah, there's some booths that are just buzzing. I feel like I'm missing out on some stuff. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to get to Itron.
Scott.
Oh, I am kind of a big deal. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, I am. All right. For the listeners, we're going to start with a level set. You don't have to do it, Ty, because you're an old salty dog. But Miguel, you're not. So give us a little background on who Miguel is.
Yeah, certainly. So Miguel Morales, I'm the commercial lead at Cumulocity IoT. I'm part of Software AG.
I was just getting ready. I'm going, yeah, but your badge says Software AG. What's this Cumulocity?
Yeah, so Cumulocity is the IoT platform and the IoT business unit within the broader Software AG. And I've been doing IoT a long time. Was at Azure IoT for 4 years prior. Ran an industrial IoT practice at a Fortune 250 industrial startup, embedded system. So we've been connecting things a long time. I've actually been working with Itron a long time. My first job coming out of college was working for this little chip called the MSP430 that was specialized in metering. So I've had a lot of admiration and respect for Itron for a long time and have worked with them in various different capacities. So I'm very happy to have this opportunity to be working together recently here on behalf of...
You're blowing smoke on the
stuff.
Ty's skirt right there. That's what
it's true.
And he's just great. I love what he does with his hair. So for that, and Ty, we spoke a couple of years back. You've been on the podcast. We did a webinar. Take us through what some of the changes that you've seen as a result. This conference, I mean, it's blistering fast. I don't know how you guys keep up with it. So take us through a little bit of that.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting, and we were talking with a few of us yesterday that every DistribuTech seems to have a theme or what's a hot topic. And 2 years ago is DERMS, distributed energy resources. Last year, clearly was EV. This year, the buzz and the focus really seems to be on grid edge, which is kind of the combination of all of these things. Enabling utilities and how are utilities going to manage all of these distributed assets, whether they're electric vehicles, rooftop solar, whatever else. Behind the meter in the customer's premise, but where they don't have access today to insight and what's happening there and being able to manage it, and the relationships they have to develop with their customers to be able to have some ability to control and manage those assets when they need to, because everyone is seeing that the demand that they're going to have to serve as utilities increasing by 50, 60, 70, 80%.
See, I don't know how you. I can't put the numbers. I just don't know how that works. Because it's. I see the physical component associated with that. You got to build it. Something's got to be built. It's not fluff. It has to be built.
Yes.
And that to me is money.
Yes.
And that to me is, you're going to have to ask certain people to pay money.
Yes.
And I'm not there.
You don't want to pay money, Scott.
I don't. I'm Scottish. Doggone it.
No, I think consumers are more interested in these devices, though. They're a little bit more conscious about the changes to the grid. I mean, I live in Texas, and we're very conscious about the state of
because
our
you're in
grid.
ERCOT, and ERCOT's an island, and ERCOT's special.
Yeah, I mean, you get solar system, or you get solar power because you want to contribute to the problem, you want to contribute to the environment or whatever. But I think the average consumer is starting to buy more things, whether it's an electric vehicle or solar grid, that have the opportunity to either contribute back to your home, to the grid, and all these different endpoints have such a diversity of different types of electronics. So the problem that the utilities and the smart cities face is I have all these different types of devices that I need visibility to. So how do I collect a solution or a group of solutions that gives me enough visibility to make the right decisions? And I think that's really at the heart of it.
Are you asking me, Scott consumer, typically a little lazy on the old left side, but if you're asking Scott to do more, to be more insightful into my consumption patterns and what I do, I'm just not there. Other people can, but I'm just send me a bill, make sure my lights don't flicker, and I'm good to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
I don't think you necessarily
I'm not putting you on the
more
defensive there.
You don't have to be more conscious. You can literally just say, hey, I want to make sure that your stuff stays on, right? As long as you hook me up to Wi-Fi, then the companies who make those products are independently able to collaborate with the grid and with the utilities to handle that for you and work on the reliability side of things. All we need you to do is help, connect.
I got you. Go.
Yeah, but you're everyone, not just Scott, wants to do nothing and to have to pay less money for it, right? Not pay more.
There's a lot of me.
There is. Most of us are like that. So, which is the challenge that utilities face, right? But you're absolutely right. When you talk about demand increases the way they are, there's going to be poles and wires that you have to invest in as a utility first, and that's of course capital money, which means going back to the rate base and saying, I need more from you guys.
Yep.
But what we're trying to do, and I think what the real opportunity is, and why connecting devices and being able to control and manage them is so important, is because we're trying to reduce the amount of poles and wires you have to put in to solve that problem, especially in the near term, because there's just so much that we can do if the homeowner, us, are willing to give up a little bit of control over when we're going to charge our electric vehicle, for example, or when we're going to say, I'm going to push electricity back onto the grid from my power wall that I've got at home. If you can tell the utility, I'll let you guys do some control there as long as I wake up in the morning and my car is 80% charged. You can charge it whenever you want between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Then that allows the utility to, they can get at least 20% more capacity out of the poles and wires that they have today. So deferring some of those investments and decreasing some of those investments in poles and wires that you have to do, because this problem is on top of us right now. If you've got, in a particular neighborhood, you've got 2 or 3 EVs plugging in and charging at the same time, you're going to be overloading a transformer that wasn't rated for this when it was installed 15 years ago. So it's a real challenge in pockets today.
So really it's a matter of trying to create the greatest level of efficiency and having that insight to be able to achieve that. Is that right, Miguel? Is that what we're talking about? Where I've got to remove the inefficiencies as much as I can before I lock and load maybe some CapEx type of build outs, whatever it might be. Is that what we're talking about? 100%. And that's data.
It's not just the consumers too. It's also a question of like the cities. How much CapEx do they have to deploy in order to gain that visibility so that they can manage the load and deliver reliability? One of the things that we've been working on lately is support for a protocol lightweight M2M.
Hold on, slow down, Falconetti. What did you just say?
Lightweight M2M uses the standard cellular network.
Okay.
And it's a protocol over standard cellular that doesn't require other networks to be deployed to have visibility into any number of assets, whether it's street lights or whether it's meters, and it makes it easier for municipalities to take advantage of that data. Right? Without having to invest additional dollars. They can just leverage a standard cellular data plan.
Yeah, it just seems to me that you want to be able to get to the point where you are at least collecting the data that is relevant to your operations, which then begs the question, Ty. There's a lot of assets that exist out there today that you're going to have a plan of attack to be able to say, okay, that's a smart meter. Let's start pulling some data, different data, or whatever it might be, whatever the strategy might be. You got to be able to start doing that, well, yesterday, in fact.
Exactly right. And a part of the challenge that utilities have, and that we have as a vendor to utilities of innovative solutions, is we can't cut at them and say you've got to rip and replace everything you've already put in the ground that cost you hundreds of millions of dollars to put in the ground tomorrow in order to get to the next stage and be able to do some of these, to get the insights into the edge of the grid that you need to get to. So, like as Miguel's saying, you have to be able to pick some spots and deploy the appropriate sensors, the appropriate control devices, intermixed with all of the smart meters and the smart devices you have today, to start giving you some target benefits here, and then easing our way into deploying increasingly more devices to be able to solve the problem, holistically across your utility's entire service territory. But the problems are really coming up locally first. So we're trying to take targeted approaches with our utilities and say, you don't have to make a massive investment to start with here if you just deployed your smart metering solution, for example. Let's pick pockets, and where do you have troubles today, and let's mitigate those first.
See, I like that incremental approach, because a lot of the conversations that I've had so far at this event is, it's way above my pay grade, and it's me being the old utility lineman that I was, and there's a power generation and there's transmission, there's this, I can see that linearly, I see it. But then all of a sudden you start talking about distributed energy and all of the I got to plug my car in, and that's going to create that. And if I was a system operator, I can't make the decision fast enough to match somebody. And again, I think that if we don't do it right, we don't, and things start flickering and power goes out. And I know people from ERCOT, they were pretty upset with the power being out, because they should, because we're down in Louisiana, and that was bad. We had a hurricane. So. But that cry happens fast.
It does. No, and it's not easy to do it right. It's not just about.
Come on. It's okay for me to say that.
No, the infrastructure is certainly expensive, and the level of investment required is significant. But when you talk about connecting all this diversity of devices, you want to make sure that you're doing it securely, right? You want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that is reliable, that doesn't break when it reaches a higher scale than expected, and those types of problems are tricky ones, where you need partners to collaborate and come together and solve those things together.
Miguel, I think you bring up a good point. I think that this is a challenge that really demands collaboration. I don't think companies who are operating in a vacuum can see the whole picture, and it's just a collaboration type of thing. How do you, Ty, this is to you, how do you educate the consumer? I mean, this is going to eventually be a little bit more, and I'm already overwhelmed with AI.
That'll be next show. We'll go into AI in detail.
But how do we do that?
It's a fabulous question, and that's the biggest challenges for utilities today. And I think the way many of our customers, as utilities, are now thinking about that is having to change a relationship with end customers right now, because right now, like you've said before, if the power is on, then you don't think about your utility. If the power is off, then they're enemy number one at the top of your mind. So being able to put smart devices in the field that really tell you something interesting or useful that the consumer can either take action on, or knows I can improve my life, or I can lower my bill if I do something. If my utility is telling me that proactively, this is how you have to start changing that relationship. So deploying smart systems, smart solutions, smart devices that really provide insights for the consumer, and the utility getting ahead of the curve and telling them, here's something that might be happening, or here's something that I'm going to give you a warning that something may be happening. I'm going to tell you about something you can do something about proactively, and pay less money, or be safer, or be more comfortable, something to that effect. That's how they begin changing the relationship, because they're going to need to develop that partner relationship with them going forward, because as we were talking about, it's the homeowner who owns the EV and decides when they charge it. The utility has to develop that trusted relationship for them to change that, to become a partner in the energy transition.
That's a good point. I just want to jump in a bit. I feel like you almost need to train the consumer with positive reinforcement strategies, right? Like, my app needs to tell me that I saved $20 today or the last 3 days because I plugged in the EV at some other time, and give me points and explode confetti on the screen or something, so that I can over time develop that a positive association with contributing to the data and contributing to solving the problem, which is ultimately a pretty serious problem of scale.
It seems to me it's also a leadership, because there's culturally, utilities they're all different in some way, shape, or form, but they still are very proud of delivering power in a safe and clean and whatever manner, right? But it would require a leader or a collection of leaders in the utility to begin that journey. Let's do this. Let's bloody our nose a little bit and be able to provide a way of incentivizing the user community. You agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that it's funny because a lot of the incentives exist. Very smart people are thinking how you structure electricity to motivate people to behave a certain way. But I feel like for some reason it's not quite landing to the users. It's not as in their face that they're doing when they do something good. It could be more, and you need really good data to do that. You need connected devices to show them what that is. But at the end of the day, I think we just need to celebrate it more and make it more visible when they open their phone or whatever. And
I got a free copy.
Yeah, maybe it's a free copy, or even if it's just something more than I connect to my solar app these days, and I just see power flowing in the circuit, and it has some statistics, but it doesn't tell me what I saved. It doesn't tell me how many turtles I've saved or bottles of anything. I want more. I want something exciting about how good I'm being when I contribute to the problem.
You need that stroking.
Exactly.
Good job, Miguel.
That's why my dog loves me. I pet it on the head.
It's like, look at you. How does Software AG work with Itron and Itron with Software AG?
Well, I think, and you said it a couple of times, which is great, because no company can solve these challenges alone.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the case. So I think where I'm excited about the collaboration between Software AG and Itron is, as Itron, we've realized, our expertise has traditionally been in providing, depth of capability from a smart metering perspective, making the meters ever smarter, putting software environments that can run applications inside them like a phone. But we also we have to be able to connect a lot more different types of sensors from different folks, not just Itron. So a whole sort of an ecosystem of different solutions that we sort of bring together, all the data together to create new value and to let our customers understand what's happening, in their network, on their grid, with all these other inputs going along with it, including weather and flood sensing and whatever else, air quality, so that they have enough information for the big AI engines of the now to be able to help them autonomously manage their grid to a much greater degree than they've had before. And that's where Software AG is really strong, is being able to, we're working with them to be able to connect more kinds of devices faster, bring them to market faster, bring the data in faster. That's where Software AG has been focused. So that's a great collaboration between us. We have to be able to do that together. Then we have to be able to work with partners on the other side who are consuming all of this data and creating other value from it. We all have, just as an industry, we have to be working together end to end. And we see our customers, utilities, are really matchmaking and putting us together to a much greater degree than they have in the past.
We're truly asking the utilities to change.
Absolutely.
And change quite rapidly, given we're a utility. We put our assets in back in the 1900s and things, and then it just started. But now it's just a completely different world out there.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a Software AG standpoint, we sort of follow a bit of a food analogy sometimes, and depending on who you talk to, it's a different food. But I think about some of those meal kits, and I would say you can create your own meal from scratch. You can grow your own herbs if you want and cut them down and make your own pesto and grow the wheat and turn that or you can receive a meal kit that has most of the elements ready to go. Perhaps you just have to chop it. It includes a sauce. At the end of the day, you still need a chef that's going to make a delicious meal for the guests in question. And for us, we are the meal kit. Software AG, the Cumulocity IT platform, has all kinds of connectivity. It does it securely. It scales. It's proven. And at the end of the day, Itron makes that delicious solution that the utilities want to consume when they sit down and eat the food. And so we make it easier to get there. We reduce the time and complexity to get there, and in a way that's supportive of the protocols relevant to the industry.
Well, Miguel, I appreciate you using the food analogy. That's awesome. The first one. I've done over 3,000 of these conversations, and you're the first one that used a food analogy, and it hit a home run.
You interviewed Ricky before. He always talks about a hamburger. So
did you before? All right.
I've heard it before. It's good. It's a pretty good one.
There's a great hot dog at Sam's Club. Their hot dogs are great.
Yeah, here there's good value.
It's good value. I don't have to pay much.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy.
So, with all that said, tie it up. That was an accident. I didn't mean.
That was on purpose.
I didn't mean to do that. But let's put it in a bow. And are you optimistic? It has to happen. But are you bullish in saying we're going to be able to do this?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm bullish by nature. But this show has been really exciting in that regard because the number of our customers, utilities that I've talked to who get this entirely and who are changing their organization, restructuring and changing the way they think and what they're prioritizing, it's happening. You see that.
I don't have to curl up in a ball.
No, you don't. Don't curl up in a ball.
Innovation is a practice in optimism at the end of the day. And I think there's a lot of innovative people here in this community.
Did you bring the food analogy and then you bring that wisdom? Yeah, jeez.
Hey, I'm new to this. I'm trying things out.
I don't know, man. You made me a better podcaster, big time. I like it. If this whole thing with Ty and Itron doesn't work out, you've got a future here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, how do people get a hold of you guys? Starting with you, Miguel.
Just hit me up on my email. Would love to chat.
But you're
LinkedIn.
Yeah, you're a LinkedIn guy.
Yeah.
Right?
LinkedIn.
Ty's a LinkedIn guy.
I am, absolutely. And Ty.Roberts@itron.com.
Miguel.Morales@softwareag.com.
You did well. Ricky would be proud.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to have all the contact information for these two gents out on Industrial Talk, so connect. You have to. It's a collaboration game. Find out more. It's easy. Just click on that link. All right. We're going to wrap it up on the other side. Thank you very much for joining us at DistribuTech. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Miguel and Ty did not disappoint. Absolutely spectacular conversation. Grid edge. It's just happening in the utility environment. There's just so much happening. And for me personally, I'm glad that there's Miguel and Ty and others who are leading this charge. Just because it's pretty complex, but they are absolutely up for the task. That's what they're all about. As you could tell, they know what they're doing. I'm so glad that they know what they're doing. All right. Industrial Talk is a platform for other podcasts, industrial podcasts. It is specifically designed for that. You have a podcast, you have an industrial specific podcast, you need to be on Industrial Talk because you want to educate, you want to collaborate, you want to innovate, and this is the ecosystem to do that. So keep that in mind. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly. Hang out with Miguel and Ty. Change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.